Hey there hunters, Lord here, back with another Monster Hunter Wilds video. So yesterday, IGN dropped some exclusive Gravios footage, which was pretty exciting. I've watched through this quite a bit already. He looks awesome. So I just wanted to go through this and kind of give you guys my reactions, some things I noticed, and be sure to comment below if there's anything I missed that you noticed. But let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So first, we get a really great look here at Gravios. One thing I noticed first was how good his sound design is, so I'll be sure to drop in some clips of my favorite kind of sound design of his here real quickly for you guys to take a listen to. So they start us off with a sneak attack here using up the Ghillie Mantle. And something I really want to point out here is this crit draw skill has activated. Now typically crit draw in older games has just affected the first attack, but as you can see here and here, we're getting a lot of crit attacks until it wears off. Almost every hit is a critical attack. So that could give us an idea that critical draw might be timing based instead of just being the first hit, which would be pretty cool and give it some extra usage in a bit more scenarios than just maybe Great Sword or what have you. Another thing I noticed immediately is that we're not bouncing on him. Now, of course, these Lalabarina weapons do have white sharpness, but not bouncing immediately off his entire carapace is a good thing, as this fight could be pretty annoying to melee in older games, so I'm happy to see that it looks like it won't be too awful to try and melee here. We're not getting yellow numbers, but that will change, so we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Again, the crit draw effect, you see it starts and then wears off. This fire attack looks great. The fire is super crisp. Love the look there. Alright guys, before we jump into the video, I just want to let you know about a cool partnership that I was just given with Gamesplanet. If you're enjoying the Gravios footage and you would like to pre-order Monster Hunter Wilds on Steam, they provide Steam keys that are directly from Capcom, so no third-party BS. If you use my code LordViettner on Gamesplanet, whether you're pre-ordering the Standard Deluxe or Premium Deluxe Edition, you can see you can get between a 12 and 13% discount on your pre-order. And I do get a small commission of these, so you can pre-order the game, get a discount for yourself, and support the channel at absolutely no upcharge to yourself. Thank you guys for your consideration. Hope to see you guys hunting out there in Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's go ahead and get back into the gameplay. Once again, crit draw activation. These laser beam attacks look super baller and terrifying. Do not want to get caught in that for sure. This one especially. Oh my word. That's going to be punishing if you're too close. Flash Fly, of course, to interrupt his fireball attack there. Super cool. Now, it looks like his roar was pretty easy to recover from. I'm not sure if that Rompopolo set has earplugs or something, but we get a look here at his poison gas, so we know he has fire gas and poison gas that come out of his belly, and we'll see another one later. Back up to white sharpness, probably important for this fight, but it looks like white sharpness won't bounce off of his belly, at least, even when it's not broken. So we'll definitely have to try that out once we get to this guy in February. And now we've got the belly broken, and we're seeing a lot of these yellow, higher damage numbers, meaning it's probably going to be a weak zone there, which is pretty cool. The visuals for the belly break are pretty dope. It's super obvious that you've busted up his stomach, as you'll be able to see here occasionally. And we get a look at this heavy explosion pod, which I assume will drop from Gravios, kind of like the pods that we were able to drop from Deshagama in the first beta. We also get a look at the sleep gas, but I want to go ahead and rewind it and show you that again. Let's take a look at it one more time. Look at the damage on that. I mean, that's pretty wild. 320 damage from just a pod attack is pretty dope. as well as getting a flinch, so that'll definitely have some use in the full game, so I'm excited to give those a whirl there. Man, he's big. I'm glad they didn't try to reduce his size at all, kind of like they did with Rajang when they brought him into like 5th gen and such. This beam attack looks nuts. Look at it creating lava pools through the frickin' floor. I mean, that's sick. So obviously with the return of Paratoads like we've known about, pretty obvious that Sleep Toads were going to come back. So this is, you know, again, kind of expected, but it'll be good for getting extra damage off, as you'll see here shortly. They get him set up pretty well. I think the design team has done a good job of making sure things are set up in advantageous areas, as you can see with this boulder drop being right above that Sleep Toad. Seems like some environmental storytelling there. Tons of damage, 1320 on the wake up hit. Beefy. Very cool. So as he goes into that blast attack, you'll notice that even though he gets knocked away, that fire blast still kind of stays on the ground. So that might be something to look out for. Even if you flinch him out of that attack, you don't want to run in too fast, which is cool. These Lalaburina weapons, by the way, are looking awesome. I'm definitely going to have to give these a try. We got to look at the Charge Blade earlier during when they first revealed Kongalola, and I was like, man, I'm going to have to try that out. If it comes with Paralysis, White Sharpness, and Super High Crit, I'm going to have to rock that. We get a look at a mount here. You can see the back brake, super cool. Pretty standard mount, but the back brake looks good. I mean, he just looks incredible in this HD environment. The part brakes and just how alive he looks, even just being a rock, is super impressive. Get a look at the tail carve here. I mean, look at how big the tail, just the back end of the tail is compared to our Hunter model. You get 2 carves out of it. It's so big, which is awesome. Next, we're going to get a look at some bow gameplay. It's not the best bow gameplay, but it is pretty cool to see. Loving the adept dodge there. Looking like we're getting some good yellow hit zones there, which is nice. The belly is still broken, but it's good to know that we can do it both with shot and with melee hit zones. Get some yellow numbers there at the end. He does have that late hitbox that we always know about with the kind of roll attack there. So you got to make sure you're really out of the way or you're guarding there so you don't get caught. The Dragon Piercer is brutal in this game. The amount of ticks you get and how slow it goes through, it's almost like using Setting Sun in Monster Hunter Rise on heavy bowgun. It slows the ammo down and you get a bunch of ticks. That's kind of what Dragon Piercer reminds me of in this game. We're going to get a lot of looks at the arc shot here. They definitely... The IGN journalist who played this definitely liked using their arc shots. We also kind of get a look at something interesting here with the tracer arrows is they seem to pierce through Gravios a bit. Watch this. See, it's like a 3-tick hit there on that tracer arrow, which is pretty interesting to me. I'm not sure if that will depend on the bow type or what, but it looks pretty dope. So again, not looking like the head is a weak zone there at all. Still just the stomach when it's broken. Maybe if we break the head, we can get a weak zone, but I wouldn't count on it too much. These laser beam attacks are crazy, dude. It gets me so hyped watching stuff like this, man. I cannot wait for the 28th of February. Typical charge attack that we've seen from Gravios and Bizarrios in the past, but followed up with this triple fireball here. So if you avoid it just by running away, you might still be in the range of those fireballs, which is cool. Make it a little bit more punishing. Some more of that fire gas. Looks like a slightly larger radius than we saw when he was not enraged. We get a look at the volcano exploding here and dealing some damage, which is again pretty cool. We've seen stuff sort of similar to that, like if you think back to Kulve Taroth in her second master rank area or her 3rd high rank area, you get those volcanoes that can deal some damage, or in the Elder's Recess. Always cool to have kind of environmental factors that you can use to your benefit when doing a hunt. Help you out, get some free damage, and make hunts go by just that bit quicker. The run doesn't seem to track super well, so I think it's going to be very similar to older games where you can just kind of strafe left or right to help dodge it. But that laser beam, gotta get out of the way of that one. Good lord, that looks awesome. Also, just very quickly in the top corner here, looks like cold and hot drinks. I think they had alluded that those were returning, but that looks like pretty good confirmation to me that they will be back. Now it looks like the hitboxes are pretty solid on this one. You're not going to get clipped. As you can see, the head goes right past the hunter. I mean, super close, and maybe in some older games you'd have got hit by that. So it looks like everything's pretty finely tuned here, which is very nice. Especially with a monster of this size, getting clipped by being 3 or 4 feet away from him would be very frustrating, so that's cool. Man, that bow adept dodge is so dope. Cannot wait to get my hands on bow in the full release. A lot of arc shots. Like I said, you're going to see that quite a bit in this kind of second part of the bow gameplay. So now we can see Rumpopolo approaching from behind here, so we get to see a little bit of the monster interaction, again in Monster Hunter Wilds, with 2 monsters that we haven't personally had hands-on experience with any of the open betas or anything like that. So it looks like Rumpopolo does some decent damage. No turf war pop-up on the right side there, but Gravios is not going to take that lying down and nails him with a laser beam. So perhaps if you're fighting Rumpopolo and there's a Gravios on the map, you might want to get them to square off to get some free damage there, because that was monster. Very cool. Again, I love that the monsters interact with each other more than just in turf wars. They actually target attacks at each other. I think that that's super dope. Instead of just kind of randomly hitting each other like sometimes you would try to bait them to do in older games. I do want to rewind again real quick here. This roll attack, again, just kind of talking about the hitboxes, lands right, his chin hits the hunter, but because that kind of animation has ended and he's not really in the attack anymore, we don't take any damage, so I think that that's pretty cool. And then we get sort of this double laser beam, which I think is psychotic, where he brings it down and then back up in almost a V shape. And so making sure that you dodge that first one as it comes down and then dodging again to stay out of the way of the beam coming up is going to be super important, but also very cool as sort of a roll catch, or if you're not paying attention and you think you dodged the first one. I always do love attacks like that that take understanding of the monster to dodge. You see it again there. And Dragon Piercer, man, bow is so good. Oh my gosh. So single beam there, doesn't seem to be sweeping, but we did see sweeping beam earlier, so it's going to be pretty important to pay attention to those, whether to get your perfect guards or your iframes out for that. Gotta tick those wounds. Dragon Pierce. Oh, dude. I mean, come on, those slow ticks right here again. Look at how long that pierces for. I mean, that's almost like 2 full seconds. Awesome. The sound effects in this game for the weapons, for the monsters, are just next level. Like every game so far, it feels like they keep getting better and they can't do it again, and then they do. All the part breaks look super cool on this monster, which is dope. I'm pretty excited for just the visual effects of this game. And that's it. That is Gravios Slade. Again, just a super badass fight. Like, he looks great. He doesn't... One thing that I saw a lot of people worried about online was in the older games, you just couldn't melee this guy until you broke a part on him, like the stomach. But in this game, with white sharpness, which, you know, who knows if that's what we'll need to get through to him, but at least definitely with Lalabrina weapons that have white sharpness, you'll be able to attack normally. It won't be weak spots, but you can offset that with that new crit draw that we saw where it lasts for a certain amount of time, so you can make sure you're hitting your high affinity. Just super dope. So let me know in the comments down below if you're excited for Gravios, what you thought of that hunt. Thanks again to IGN for dropping the video and Monster Hunter for sharing it around. I'll see you guys all in the open beta at the beginning of February. But with all that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I wish you all a good day and happy hunting.